Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme, and today I am thrilled to have three local high school coaches with me, and it's a returning guest. First, Kevin Gray from Beechwood High School. We've got Mike Hart from Connor High School and Brian Benzinger from Highlands High School. Fellas, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you
for having us, Joe.
Well, I'm excited. Like I said before we got started, these local flavor podcasts really get a lot of listens because I think everyone loves to hear about the high school baseball scene and the softball scene. And it's kind of fun to hear a familiar name and a voice that you may see every day as a player and or family member. But let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the 9th region preview here for 2026. And I want to let everyone know before they get mad at me, because you three are the three coaches on this episode, is that I looked at last year's regional tournament and I invited the four coaches that made the semifinals. And the three of you agreed to do that. So that's why you were selected. And I appreciate that. So anyone who is out there that wasn't asked to be on here, I apologize. But that's how I chose you for. So, I appreciate it. And I think it's going to be interesting to hear some of your stories and information. We're going to talk a little bit about last year, and then we're going to get into this year. So let me go ahead and get started here. So let's just relive a little bit of the 2025 tournament. I know there's definitely one coach that would love to talk about this, and we're going to start out with him, and that's head coach from Highlands, Brian Benzinger. You beat Dixie 9-0 in the semifinals. Garrett Wiggins was fabulous. He had a shutout, 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. Brooks Hendricks led the team. He went 4 for 4. Do you recall, Brian, anything in particular from that game that just could explain the domination over Dixie with a 9-0 victory?
Well, I mean, we kind of came into the tournament on a roll, and then we had kind of a tough draw. We were we were kind of penciled in to start off with Cupcalf, which we did, and we won I think it was 7-2. But then we were probably, on paper supposed to play Ryle, and after that Beechwood. So going into the tournament, it was definitely a challenge. But like I said, we were kind of playing our best ball toward the end of the year. And we played pretty good ball all year long, but we seemed to hit our stride. And, the weird thing about the tournament is, we played Cupcalf first, and a guy by the last name of Fortin, which I'm sure you remember, he pitched against Cupcalf 2 times in the regular season, and so we went ahead with him. Wiggins pitched against Dixie on senior day, and we went ahead and started Wiggins against Dixie. And then Jake Robinson pitched against Kevin's team, Beechwood, in the regular season. And so the 3 guys that pitched against the 3 teams in the tournament had all seen that team before, and the other team had seen them before. So it was rolling the dice a little bit, but that's how we decided to do it. But we were hitting the ball. We were playing good defense. We were pitching well. It all kind of came together at the end for us, and that's kind of why we had such a good tournament.
On the other side, we had Beechwood facing Connor, and Beechwood came out victorious. They won 7-3. We'll start with you, Mike. Tell me a little bit there. The pitching got roughed up a bit. I think the hitting struggled a little bit. Brady Bushman, he did have 9 strikeouts, but he gave up 5 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. And your hitters only collected 4 hits at the plate. I don't want to relive a bad game for you, but do you recall anything in particular that seemed like your team was just off that day?
Yeah, I mean, not to make excuses or anything, but, Aerosmith threw a great game. He had us off balance the entire game. I thought we were probably close to getting to him there early, and then and we didn't. And he settled in. And once you let a pitcher like that settle in, you're pretty much toast. But coming into the game, the first round of the region, our main pitcher and probably our leading hitter, JJ Bagby, got hurt. And I think, once he wasn't able to play the field, and then that kind of put our offensive lineup, kind of shook that up a little bit. And I think that was a big, mentally it was a little bit tough for our guys to get over. But they came in and they scrapped, and I told Kevin after the game, I was like, we were doing everything we could, to try to steal that momentum from them. We had Brady steal home, just trying to get any type of momentum we could. And I think we got it there for a little bit, but to Beechwood's credit, they came right back and hit the ball. And, once they got up on us, I think that was it.
Yeah. You mentioned Caleb Aerosmith. He threw 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. Kevin, you only collected 7 hits, but they must have been timely because you scored 7 runs. And I know you had beat Connor earlier in the year 5-2. Did you approach this game any differently, or did you have the same mindset going into this game?
No, we had pretty much the same mindset. I mean, we knew it was going to be a tough game. I mean, the year before that, Brady Bushman hit a 2-run homer and beat us 2-0 in the regional. So as a sophomore, we knew we were getting him. We tried to prepare like as much as we could for him. And, I think Mike's right. I think, in the beginning of the game, they had some opportunities to get to Caleb and they didn't. And then he really got into his groove. And like Mike said, when a pitcher gets into their rhythm and their groove, they're hard to get out of. So
yeah,
we found out in the finals.
Well, 4 good teams in the semifinals, and then as we mentioned, Beechwood faces Highlands in the championship. I didn't make it there, but I listened to it on my back porch. I might have been enjoying a few cold beverages, that's for sure, and I enjoyed every bit of it. No offense, Kevin, but
I know, Joe. I got it.
Alumni from Highlands.
Right, I got you.
I'm proud to say that a former player of mine, Jacob Robinson, a good friend of mine is his dad, Brian. He threw a gem. It was 7 innings. Yeah, both runs were unearned, 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I loved every minute of it. Kevin, what happened? Was it Jacob or what? Just what?
No, it was. It was a 3-2 game going into the 7th inning, and we had opportunity. He just was really, really good. I mean, to Coach Benz's credit, they threw 3 complete games in the regionals.
Yeah.
Horton, Wiggins, and Robinson threw complete games. If you throw 3 complete games in our regional tournament, you're probably going to win it.
Yes.
And I told him after the game, I thought they were the hottest team. I thought they were the best team going into that tournament. Because they were kind of on the down, not kind of quietly getting better and better as the year went on. And everybody was talking about Ryle, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else. And I went to scout Newcath. I think it was Newcath and Covcath in Highlands. And I kept thinking, man, we better start scouting these guys because they look real. They just kept getting better and better. And I thought Benz did a heck of a job with them guys last year.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, he had some big shoes to fill. I mean, we in our previous episode with you and Coach Bione, you've talked about the 4-peat on both sides, and this has got to be a sweet feeling for you, Brian. You brought a state or a regional championship to Highlands your first year. How sweet was that?
Well, it was good, and let's not forget that Coach Bione had a pretty good foundation here, and they lost 12 or 13 seniors the year before in his last year, but I kind of knew that it was they say, are you rebuilding? Are you reloading? I think this year we might be rebuilding. I don't know. We'll see. But I think last year, Coach Gray was probably the first coach to recognize. I think we were playing them at our place, and he said exactly what he just said. You got 3 pitchers. You might have a really good chance to win the region this year. And at that time, it was like, well, we'll see. I always liked the team. I kind of feel that way about the team we have now. A lot of positions open, just like last year, but some seniors to kind of step in and do the job. But like Kevin said, that game could have went either way. We almost really fell apart in whatever inning that was, second or third inning. We Seems like we had about 5 errors, and to
Yeah.
Jake Robinson's credit, he picked up his fielders and just went about his business, and somehow just gave up 2 runs the whole game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I hate to lose more than anybody in the world, but that was a game where we just sat back, and watched, Robinson and Flaherty just go at it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It was really, really cool to watch. So it's the way the final should be, honestly.
Yeah, it was fun to listen to. I'm sure it was even better to watch, especially when you're on the winning side. So let's get a little bit more from you. I know, Brian, you went on to play South Warren, who was 31-9 in the regular season, and you lost a heartbreaker in extra innings. Tell us a little bit about that game.
well, you never want to make excuses, but we had them on the ropes, man. We were, gosh, they had nobody warming up, and it's the second inning, and we're getting ready to score who knows how many runs. And the rains came. And first of all, the game started an hour late, but then here we are, we're playing about a half hour, and we're beating them up. And they had, like I said, they had nobody warming up, and they had 1 out, and we had runners in scoring position. And the rains came. It was it seemed to be a 90-minute delay. And like I said, I don't want to make excuses, but after that rain delay, it was a different game. They chipped away at us and chipped away at us. Finally, they tied it, took the lead, and then we were able to. Brooks Hendricks hit a solo home run in the top of the 7th to tie it, and then we lost a heartbreaker in extra innings. But I really feel like if the rains don't come there, I think Jake Robinson was on the mound. I think he keeps his momentum, and it's a hard decision as a coach when you have a rain delay and he's already thrown about 40 or so pitches, and it's like, do we take him out? Do we leave him in? And with Jake, he wanted to keep going, so we let him keep going, and it just didn't work out for us. It wasn't meant to be, but I really feel like we had a chance in that second game if we could get past the first one. But man, Trinity's
Yeah.
awful good. Trinity, we would have ran into them at some point, and they're awful good.
Yeah, they are. It's quite a history down there. Do you remember in your post-game speech anything in particular that you told the boys after that loss?
Yeah, I do. You're gonna make me start crying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, one of the I caught all the seniors by surprise. It is something I've done for 25 years at my other school, and our last, every team except for the state champion loses their last game. Most teams, unless you have a makeup game or something. And so I just said, hey, seniors, your turn. You say whatever you want. You take as long as you want. We were the last game of the day. I said, take as long as you want. You have the floor. And the amount of emotion that came from the seniors, even the ones that don't say much, and the word love was love you guy. It was hard to listen to, but it was really cool at the same time. So my post game speech, what I remember about it is what the seniors said to their fellow seniors and to their fellow teammates that are underclassmen.
That's special. That's a neat opportunity.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking, but it was, at the same time, it was something that the kids will remember forever, I think.
I think that's neat, the opportunity that you gave them to say some things to their fellow teammates. And, let's be real. A lot of, the majority of us high school athletes end our careers when high school ends. And, there's not many of us that are lucky enough to move on to the next level. So, that's the end of the competition that we know and love. And those are some of the memories that I remember the most is just being with the buddies that you play with, regardless of wins or losses, but it's the bond that you make. I'm glad to hear that you gave them that chance.
Yeah.
So, all right, 25, it's in the past. Now it's 26. Hard to believe how fast time flies. Seems like just 3-4 months ago that I was like, hey, we'll have to get together in the spring and talk about preseason. But you guys were supposed to start today on Monday, and lo and behold, it's 30-something degrees and snow showers. I mean, it's ridiculous, but when you live in greater Cincinnati, that's what you deal with. So we're going to talk a little preseason information, and then we're going to see how it all shakes out. But the preseason rankings, of course, mean very little, but they're out there.
Very little.
Yeah, but it's an opinion of many people, and in this case, it's the Northern Kentucky Baseball Coaches Association, and they've got Beechwood ranked number 1, Highlands ranked number 3, and Connor number 8. And I'm very pleased to have those 3 coaches with me. Coach Mike Hart, let's hear from you. Talk about Connor. First of all, how long have you been the head coach out there?
This will be my 3rd year with varsity. I was the freshman coach for 4 years, and then stepped into very big shoes when Coach Arlinghouse decided to step away. So,
right.
This will be my 3rd full year as a varsity coach.
Did you coach somewhere before, Connor?
I did a summer ball for 20-some years. So
okay.
Did that whole circuit, and Kevin and I go way back with that.
Gotcha. And you're still friends?
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
I think we are. I guess.
Well, yeah. Mike and I have been on a field for many, many times over the years.
Yeah,
it's always
that's
fun.
Great.
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
a great time.
Yeah, our kids played against each other. I think started 10 years old or something. Wasn't that right, Kevin?
Yep.
Okay, so you really do have quite a history. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. Well, your Cougars are in the 33rd district, and along with your team, you've got Boone County, Cooper, Heritage, and Ryle. The NKAC ranks Ryle 6 and Cooper 10. Do you have much intel or on Cooper? What do you expect from them this year?
I expect them to be competitive. Every year, I think our district is a dogfight anyway. You think a team, and then you turn around and you get slapped in the face. We in our seed games last year, Boone came out and just beat us all over the place. It didn't matter who we put on the mound; they just beat us all over the field. And then, so you can't go into any of these games, not looking. You can't look past anybody.
Sure.
Everybody's got a chance to get you, and I think Cooper had some younger guys last year that were stepping up, and I expect them to contribute this year. Same with Ryle. Everybody loses seniors. But you got those guys that are backfilling, and they're getting that experience behind those seniors, and you gotta expect them to be ready to take the torch. So I just think everybody in this district can get you at any given, the old saying, any given day. But I expect everybody to be competitive.
Yeah, same way with Ryle. I mean, they're ranked 6th according to the preseason, but absolutely someone who you should never look past, right?
Correct. They've always got guys down there. Joe does a good job with that program. And, like I said, parents want to look at, these guys, as freshmen beat all of these same kids, or as on the JV, they won this and that. And, which is kind of cool to think, but that doesn't translate once you get to the varsity level, because you think you're playing all the same guys, and you're not, because some of the better guys are already playing varsity when you're playing JV and that type of stuff. But, you never can look past Ryle. He just reloads every year over there.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe does a great job. Coach Joe Ayler.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Brady Bushman. I know he's a heck of a player, and I want to hear a little bit more on your take as to what really makes him stand out for your team.
This group of seniors is kind of special to me, because these guys I coached since they were in 8th grade. So when I was freshman coach, these guys came in as 8th graders, and I've basically gotten to coach them their entire high school career. So, that's a privilege. I feel like that was a privilege to me. It's been an honor, kind of really cool to watch them grow and mature. Brady, especially, he's one of those guys. I just say he's a freak athlete. You can put him on, obviously he's very talented in basketball, but I think you probably put him on the football field and he would excel there as well. He's basketball ended. He rolled into practice a couple of days ago, and he just jumps in the cage and he just starts raking the ball all over the place. The prototypical roll out of bed and then start hitting. And then our new pitching coach this year hadn't seen Brady yet. Had him throw a little bit on the mound the other day, and he was like, "Why didn't you tell me about him?" I said, "I thought I did, but."
That's good.
So he was excited to see that. So now he's, like I said, he's a freak athlete, and he just, you can put him out in center field, and it's kind of like you set it and forget it. Really, you put him out there, and you just know he's going to go after everything that's out there.
Who are some of the other players that you think are going to contribute this year?
The senior class, I would say most of them have been playing varsity or had some varsity experience since they were sophomores. So I'm expecting big things out of like Grayson Wagner this year, who was kind of quietly went about his business last year, but that guy has just made leaps and bounds, on the baseball field. James Arball, who's probably our best third baseman. And unfortunately, he had some back issues last year and missed a lot of the season. So I'm excited to get him back out there. Everett Hall, who stepped in with the Newcath game when JJ went down and came in and just dominated on the mound to finish that game. So I'm excited with him too. Cooper Kelly, one of our pitchers from last year, expecting big things from him again. We've got Case Testerman. I could go on and on with these guys. Like I said, they've all had that experience. We got Max Brunkel behind the plate, who has been starting catcher there since he was a freshman.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, he's out for a little bit of time resting his arm, but I'm excited to see him at the plate this year.
Oh, good.
If you are in the market to buy a new home, refinance, or take out an equity line, look no further than in your own community. Lee Whitty, broker and owner of Hometown Mortgage, located in Fort Thomas, Kentucky, has over 22 years of experience helping clients with their mortgage needs. As an independent mortgage broker, Lee Whitty has the ability to shop your loan for the best rates and loan products, which will save you time and money. Give Lee Whitty a call at 859-380-5674 or look him up on Google, where he has over 150 five-star reviews. Lee Whitty of Hometown Mortgage, NMLS 437373.
Brian, I'll talk about you next. You started at Highlands. I think we just already addressed it. This last year was your first year, but you coached in New Richmond before that. How many years were you over there?
I was there for a total of 25. So I was a JV coach for 5 years and then 20 years on the varsity.
Okay.
So my last year there was 2018. And the only reason I really stopped coaching there was because my son was going off to play college ball, and I didn't want to miss any of that. And then, so he played his 4 years of college. And then here I am coaching the freshman team. I guess maybe a year, 2024. I joined the Highlands staff as a freshman coach, and then Coach Bione retired and from coaching, and then I went ahead with my wife's blessing, put in for the job, and thankfully got it.
Well, you always have to have the wife's blessing because there's a lot of time that goes into being a coach, regardless of the level that you're at. But behind any good coach is a great wife or partner, and that's for it goes without saying, but it always is something that I like to mention in these things. So,
absolutely.
Thank you to all you women, especially my wife, who never listened to my podcast, by the way. But I'm trying to get her on here, but she says nobody wants to listen to her. But I think it'd go viral. I think it'd be hysterical. But anyway, all right, we'll get back to your Bluebirds. You are in the 36th district. Your other competitors are Bellevue, Dayton, Newport, and Newport Central Catholic. Again, preseason rankings, call it what you will, but none of those other teams are in the top 10 at this point. Who do you expect to be your main competition in the district this year, Brian?
Well, I would expect Newport Central Catholic to be our competition. Last year in the district game, for seeding purposes, we went into the district tournament as the second seed because they put it on us in the regular season. We had an off day at the plate and didn't pitch well and didn't play very good defense. So if you're not hitting and not playing defense and you're not pitching well, you're probably going to lose that game. But they beat us, and so we were the 2 seed, and then we played them in the championship game and played more like us, and we won that game fairly easily. And you never know about those other two teams. I know that Bellevue and I know that Dayton and Newport too have some coaches that they're gung ho and they're trying to bring excitement to the program. And yeah, maybe they're a year or two away, but you never know. You never know. You don't have to go back in time that long to know to see some of those teams were pretty good in the past.
Right. I interviewed last year the new coaches at Dayton and Newport. Then those guys have really good heads on their shoulders, and they have the right attitude. And it is what it is. It's a struggle sometimes for those smaller schools with the kids that they can bring into the program, and they are always challenged with things like that. And I don't know the new head coach at Bellevue. They of course lost a legend with Rob Sanders retiring, who has also been on here. But I'm anxious to see how those younger coaches do. And I just had Coach Nick Enninger on here at Newport Central Catholic. So you got a lot of newbies in that entire district. So you're all going to battle it out. Talk to me a little bit about Brooks Hendricks. I mean, a lot of people would argue he might be the best player in the region. Last year, he hit .578 with 23 RBIs and 21 stolen bases. Truly a special player. What makes him just stand out?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. I've never seen a hitter in all my years of coaching high school. I've never seen a better two-strike hitter. It's almost like when he gets two strikes, it's like the reverse. He's got the pitcher right where he wants him. 0-2. I mean, he was just amazing with two strikes. Rarely strikes out. Got very good speed, so he got his fair share of infield hits. Where you top a ball down the third base line, and he's extremely fast. He'll beat those out. He probably got 8 or 10 hits last year that were just infield hits that he maybe didn't hit the ball that great, but he was able to beat it out easily. Hits the ball to all fields. Hits the breaking stuff. He really doesn't have any weaknesses as far as at the plate. It's as a pitching if someone's calling pitches, it's like what do you throw this kid? He hits everything. He had kind of an amazing year last year, and I really
we know, Benz. We know.
well, you know what it's a tough ask to say, hey Brooks, you need to hit 570 again this year. I just don't.
Yes.
I just don't know that that's going to happen. That's not realistic to think that way. But if he's not over 450, then that's not Brooks Hendricks, and something's wrong. But he's going to produce. He's going to be our guy at the plate, and special kid. His dad is my assistant coach, and sometimes that could be tricky with a dad as a coach. But those two are professionals, and they handle that very well. And there's never any problems in that regard.
Well, I hope he's listening because I know Chris very well, and you'll have to ask him someday about the battles with our kids growing up coaching against each other. We are two of the most competitive people that I think anyone would meet, and we had some good times. We step in between the lines, and it got a little bit heated, but he's a good guy, and sounds like, I don't know Brooks, saw Jack a little bit more, his older brother, while my kids were playing up there, but good family overall, and when it's all said and done, that's what matters. You can coach, you can be competitive, and you can have good games and bad games. But if you get along off the field, then that's really what matters. So, Chris, here's a shout out to you. I like you when we're off the field, but when we were competing, it was a battle. So, hey, you did mention the three guys that I was going to mention too. Your pitchers, Jake Robinson, Adam Fortin, and Garrett Wiggins. You lose all three. Who do you see so far that might step up and contribute on the mound to help your pitching staff this year?
Yeah, great question. We actually lost our top four. Our fourth pitcher, our number 4 guy last year was Ian Carner.
Oh, wow.
Who's now playing at Mount St. Joe. But losing those 4 on the mound, it's going to be a tough road, I think. But we do have guys. Patrick Davidson's a senior. He probably would have got more innings last year if those 4 guys that I just mentioned didn't have such great years. Danny Hurley's a senior. He throws. He's coming on and looking really good. Throws hard. Have some juniors that are stepping up and throwing strikes, and that's the thing for me is throw strikes. Guy named you probably remember the Glazier name out of Highlands.
Oh yeah, Eric.
Yeah,
Oh,
Eric. So I believe it's his nephew.
yeah,
His name's Braden.
yeah,
Uh,
Nathan's son, right?
yes, he's a lefty thrower. Another young man named Ronan Toller, who's a junior, a lefty thrower. We got a lot of lefties. Um, we
Hmm.
have a we have a lefty that was hurt last year. He played as freshman and sophomore year, but then he had Tommy John, Jack Price, another lefty named Sam Rushman. So we do have arms, and at this time last year, I didn't know that the big three, we'll call them, were going to blossom like they did. I just hope that maybe we could have another blossoming, if you will, of another three guys that'll kind of step up and do the same thing that those three did last year.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the head coach.
Well, not really. I'm too old to worry about that kind of stuff. But, you know, we have a really special catcher. I can't stop talking about my team unless I mention Kai. Kai Anderson is tremendous with umpires. He's tremendous with his pitching staff. And believe me, he's a junior, but it is his pitching staff. If you ask him, he'll say, "That's my pitching staff, coach, not yours." And he's amazing at what he does, and he's just a good overall baseball player, and we're thrilled to have him as our catcher.
I've heard a lot of good things about him, and I've read some things also. I've not seen him play personally, so I'm anxious to get to a game or two and see what it's like. Yeah, that's great. Well, last but not least, Kevin, it's your turn. Your Tigers from Beechwood are in the 35th district. They are competing against Covington Catholic, Holmes, and Holy Cross. And all due respect, it is what it is. Beechwood and Cov Cath have both dominated in this district for many years, and I know the NKAC ranks you number one. But Cov Cath is ranked number 4, so they're not far behind. We all know that Coach Bill Crumplebeck retired after last season after 48 years. They have a new coach in John Michaels. Do you know much about him, and what do you think that he might bring to this club? Are they going to be just as dangerous without Crumps?
Oh, absolutely. John Michaels is a good friend. I've known him a long time in the coaching world, and they're in good hands. I can tell you that. I mean, it's going to be weird, kind of like not seeing Crumps over there. But John's a good coach, and they got good players. And you can guarantee one thing: when we take the field out at Thomas More Stadium on Memorial Day, they're going to be one of the teams that you're going to have to beat. So.
Yeah, yeah.
And Holmes and Holy Cross has had some really good teams over the years. That, I mean, there was a couple years ago that they made an error in the 7th inning, or they beat Covcath and knocked them out. And Covcath had a really good team that year.
Hmm.
So Holy Cross is young this year. I talked, Coach Wormling. I know they're young, but they're still dangerous. They're still Holy Cross, and then Holmes is young. And like Coach Benzinger said, I mean, and Coach Hart said, any given day, you come out there and think you're better than the other team and you're that much better, they're going to get you.
Well, you've got 2 studs returning. I'm sure a lot of other great players, but Tyler Fryman and Caleb Arrowsmith. Tell me about both those guys.
I'll tell you, they're both juniors this year. Tyler's he's just a freak athlete, man. I mean, football, he's unbelievable. Baseball wise, I mean, I've never seen a kid work as hard as he does and helps the younger guys. He's always at Beechwood doing something. He's either lifting, he's getting my keys to get into the barn to hit more. He's doing something. Same with Caleb. He's always up there. And obviously Caleb's going to be one of our dudes on the mound. He's looked really good. Threw a little pen today. Looked really good. So we're looking for big things from both of them.
Well, I mean, year in, year out, you're always looked at as one of the favorites. Is there anything that you talk to your team about or tell them to try and help avoid the pressure of always having that proverbial target on their backs?
I don't know why people make a big deal about the preseason ranking, because I told them, I said, all that is to me is coaches. It's from the guys that were there before them, the
Yeah.
coaches that know how hard these guys work and the time that the coaches put in and the players put in. But to me, it's more about the guys that played before them as you get those preseason rankings. I told them when it came out, I said, it's cool. It's an honor, blah, 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 for for the guys that played and for you guys that are here and have been here, how hard you work. But it's not worth the paper it's written on. I think all three of us sitting here today, along with Coach Ayler and Coach Michaels now, I mean, all of us have targets. We're always going to be, hopefully, you would think, we're all going to have a chance to win it. And I'll tell you, man, the 9th region, I tell people all the time, besides the 7th region, I mean, the 9th region is so hard to win because you got some really good coaches. You got some really good teams. I think we got a ton of talent around here that gets missed a lot. And, I've talked to college coaches about it. And, I know these guys are the same. I know Coach Hart and Coach Benzinger would help anybody get to the next level. And that's how I am with these coaches. I'm like, you need to check out Brooks Hendricks from Highlands. You need to check out Brady Bushman from Connor. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not just trying to promote our kids. I'm trying to promote everybody's kids. Because there's nothing. I mean, 2 years ago when Brady hit the 2-run homer, pitched to Jim as a sophomore and hit a 2-run homer in the 7th, and Connor beat us in the regional. I mean, that kid, that was a moment. I talked to him after the game for probably half an hour. Nice kid, just was like, man, you're never going to forget this. The rest of your life. You're going to be sitting around old and fat like me someday drinking beer, and you're going to be telling the story,
Back in my day.
Yeah.
That's right. You say it very well, and everybody, I think, has done it in the past on this podcast. And I continue to harp on this, and whoever has listened to these other episodes with high school coaches, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it again. I feel like the Northern Kentucky area is unique in that I've interviewed a lot of coaches. I know a lot of coaches, and I've seen them interact, whether it's when my boys played up there or I've just been a fan. And you guys are just a great group of men, and everyone's competitive. If you're not, you shouldn't be a high school coach, regardless of the sport. But you seem to get along really well because you're always willing to help each other out. Now, don't get me wrong, you get on the field in between the lines and you're going to squeeze bunt someone in if it means you're going to win the game. But that's the competitive nature of sports. Mike, what is it, in your opinion, that makes the Northern Kentucky coaches unique in the way that they act with each other?
I've had, over the past couple of years, had the privilege of sitting in these coaches meetings. And, as a parent, when my kids were going through, as a parent, you sit there and you're like, I can't stand that coach, this and that. But, because, it's somebody from the other team. But then you get in the room with these guys and you realize, like, we're all just doing it for the kids.
Right. Everybody's
out there for the kids. Yes. And you nailed it, Joe. I mean, we're all competitive. If any of us want to sit down and play checkers, we're hoping to beat each other's ass, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
But that's how it is. And that's how it should be. You said, if you weren't competitive, then you shouldn't be doing this. But when it's all said and done, it's all about the kids. You want what's best for these kids. And I think in this area, and I do think it's unique, everybody's on the same page with that. Every coach would help another kid from another school if it meant that kid was going to excel in some ways at the next level. And nobody would balk about asking. I wouldn't have any problems, calling up Kevin or Brian or Joe or, anybody else and just say, hey, can I get a recommendation? Or, this kid played against you guys. Can you write something up for him? What did you see? Or something like that. And I think it's unique. I really do think it's unique in this area. And I do think the talent in this area gets overlooked a lot. Like I said, being a parent, watching my boys play at Connor, going through the district and going through the region, and then you watch who goes on to play at the next level, and you're kind of scratching your head, and it's like, why are these guys not getting picked up by somebody? There's a lot of talented kids in this area, and I think it makes this region what it is. It's just really hard to play in this region, and when you win this region, you've gone through the gauntlet.
Yeah, I know it's just a river that separates the two states, but Brian, you came from New Richmond to Highlands. Do you think there's anything different here in Northern Kentucky with the camaraderie that you have experienced in your first year as a head varsity coach, or is it the same when you were over in Ohio?
No, it's different. It's a lot different. I was, you're talking to two other guys today that were, among the first to congratulate, yeah, nice job, or congratulations on getting the job. And they're not alone. The Northern Kentucky Coaches Association is, I remember my first meeting there, and there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of, poking at each other a little bit. You would never think that, oh my gosh, I watched a regional game in 2024 between two teams, and it looked like they hated each other. And then they're in the room sitting by each other, laughing it up. And it's a little different over in Ohio. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because they're a little bit more spread out because when you have district meetings, I mean, a district in Ohio has 20 teams. So if you win the district in Ohio, it's kind of like winning the regional here. So when you have meetings, it's the entire coaches association in Cincinnati, and so maybe that's why there's just more teams, a lot of faces you don't know who they are. Many of the coaches don't even bother coming to the meetings. They send somebody else, and if you're the varsity coach, you might look around and there might be, 50 schools there and only 10 varsity coaches because they're sending somebody else. Where in Northern Kentucky, it was, unless they got something else going on, a practice or a game, they're there and they're having fun and a lot of bantering and like I said, it was kind of a different world going over to Kentucky. And I think a lot of that is the leadership of Kevin. Kevin's the president of it all, or at least he wants to be, or he pretends to be.
Pretends.
And he sets a tone that is very easygoing and everybody gets along. And if you're not one of those guys, then you probably don't belong there.
I think it's really cool, like our region too, like whoever, like last year, I was the biggest Highlands fan against Warren Central that there was.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I think everybody, whoever's fortunate enough to win it, everybody roots for him. I mean, the times that we've been down there, I look up the stands and there's Jeremy's there. There's Joe Ayler there. There's Arlo. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's there to root you on. It's just really cool. And people in other regions can't understand how we all like get along and meet up, and because they always say there ain't no way in hell they'd have Trinity and Mal and X sitting in the same room together.
No, I can't imagine that.
It's just the way it is down there. But
yeah.
I just think it's cool. It's awesome to be part of. Somehow I got suckered into the president a few years ago, and it's all good. It's cool. It's a little bit of work, but it's just it's a joy to be around these guys.
Well, Kevin, you're the most tenured coach that's on this podcast tonight. And, I know you would not say it yourself, but people look up to you and they model the way that they not only coach, but handle themselves as a human being, because I've talked to them and they have so many good things to say about you. You're a very humble person. You would never admit that. Yeah, I know that, Joe. I appreciate that. But I'm telling you that it's true. And you lead by example. And I think that's one of the main reasons is because of the history that you've had with this area and the class that you carry yourself with. And then all those around you become better people. I always told my boys when, I still tell them, associate yourself with good people. And if you make good decisions, you'll be a good person too. And I think it snowballs. And you guys have a great group, and these new kids that are coming in, I call them kids because I'm 53. These 20-something-year-old new coaches are kids. And they see the way that the three of you interact with everyone, and they say, oh, okay, this is the right way to coach and the right way to be. And it's just going to continue. And I think that's special. I want to ask you, Kevin, I know you absolutely had a great relationship with your dad. Is he the main influence that has helped mold you to be the person that you are?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. He's one of the reasons, him and honestly, Coach Dave Faust, who was basketball coach at St. Henry for years and years. He was my senior year coach. And my 8th grade coach was Jim Donlan. He was really, really special to me, which most people don't say that about their 8th grade coach, but he had a life impression on me. And between my dad and those two, definitely were the reasons I got into coaching. And try to treat everybody the way I want to be treated.
Well, we've had some icons retire in the past few years, and I hope that the three of you don't join that group, because I think the ninth region continues to succeed because of fellows like the three of you. You all are doing a great job. You each have a great program that you're leading. And again, I think that the examples that you lead with will help those young coaches take those smaller programs to the next level. And I think it can only get better, because when there are good people in charge and good kids getting involved at a younger age, which is going to happen, then the ninth region is going to be better overall. Anything else that anybody wants to part with? Any competitive jabs for each other? Or say, we're going home silent and see how it plays out?
I think we got all that out in the text group today, didn't we?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, guys, I do appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, especially with the season supposedly getting underway today, but let's hope the weather turns and you can get out there on those fields and get some games started. I truly appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck, and I'm anxious to get out there and see each one of your teams and many more this season of 2026. Good luck to all three of you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.